TikTok compilation that will blow your mind. Are you ready? Are you ready? Let's go!
Disclaimer: this video is for entertainment purposes only. Please do your own research, as these clips haven't been fact-checked.
I don't think jealousy. You can't help stop looking at beauty. Beauty is beauty. Enoch Yai is a supermodel for sure. Bento box.
We will soon make a brief stop at Wadawada. The exit will be on the next.
Oh.
この電車は光645号新大阪駅です。小田原を出ますと次は名古屋に停まります。
It's not that Japan is living in 2050. It's us living in the 1900s.
People always ask me, Jay, how do you survive and live off grid and own your own property if you don't have a job? Like, how do you make money? Well, here's a trick. What I do is I go on Facebook Marketplace and I look for people selling livestock, goats, cows, chickens, ducks, whatever. And then I message them and ask them if they have any work needs done on their farm.
Oh.
And a lot of times, well, all the time there is, but a lot of times they will barter and have you come do a few hours worth of work and you get to pick. Like today I'm picking a baby goat worth $350 after I clear out their barn. So I'm literally walking into the barn, I'm about to show you. All I'm doing is getting all the old hay off the ground, putting it into this wheelbarrow, and then bucking it out to their field. And I get a baby goat. Might only take me 2 hours, might take me 6 hours, but either way, $350 baby goat or $150 cash, it's a good deal. And you get to meet community, you get to stay in shape, get a good workout, and play with animals. It's awesome. But yeah, that's how I make money.
The barter system, taking back to the old ways, the best ways. But we all might be doing it again before long.
Scientists once taught monkeys the concept of money, and then disaster ensued. In 2005, a group of monkeys were given silver coins. It took months to teach the monkeys that these coins were a valuable means of exchange, but once they had that understanding is when the real fun began. They were given 12 coins and presented with jello cups and grapes, each costing a different price. Then scientists introduced price shocks, raising the price of one and dropping the price of the other, and the monkeys went for the better deal if they were low on cash, meaning they understood budgeting. Then gambling was introduced and monkeys were doing that. Then they figured out stealing, then something really shocking began to happen. The monkeys truly had a grasp of money and learned it wasn't just good for buying food. The scientists noticed that some male monkeys were using the coins to pay females for lovemaking. Those females would then use that money they earned to go buy food for themselves. Once scientists noticed that was happening, they did have to put an end to it because they wanted to ensure any future monkey business occurred as nature intended. All in all, they found that when money was introduced, they just behaved a good bit like humans.
Oldest profession in the world. And you're right, it's a monkey business.
These influencers that are telling you they're not making crazy amounts of money are lying to you. I don't care what they say. I have 26,000 followers and I average $300 a day passively. That means not trying, that means not working, that means my videos are accumulating so much from the past that even when I'm on vacation, I'm making $300 a day passively. So think
Okay.
about how much I make when I'm working, when I'm actually posting, plus all the passive income. And I only have 26,000 followers. And you're going to tell me that you're going to sit in front of a camera with 10 plus million people and tell me that you're not making money and you can't afford this and you can't afford that and you can't afford to help people in need ever? No, that's not right with me. So if you guys are wondering if these people are lying and it's not making any sense, it's because they are lying. They literally are lying.
I think for TikTok, you can only do this in certain countries. USA, UK, Brazil, to name a few.
What is this hand signal that Wade Wilson does at the end of his sentencing? Earlier today, the jury recommended that he gets the death penalty. Wade Wilson is convicted of murdering 2 women by strangulation just hours apart in 2019.
The defendant is guilty of first-degree murder. We, the jury, find by a vote of 9-3 that Wade Wilson should be sentenced to death.
Both murders were especially heinous, atrocious, and cruel. He was under the influence of power, of lust, of control, of hate.
He's sick. He's got a diseased mind. There's something wrong with his brain. Wade, like his birth mother, became a victim of his diseased mind that is now overtaken by the monster of disease and addiction.
It's not credible that mental illness caused the defendant to murder Christine Melton and Diane Ruiz.
He will be formally sentenced in a couple weeks.
I think it's just nerves. I've seen people saying he was cold when he got his sentence, but look close when he hits the number 9. His heart sang like an anchor. And I will never understand the death penalty. How is that torture? You get off the hook that way. But what do you think?
Tiny Tim, buckle up, because you are not ready to see the extent they will go to hide the fact that giants once roamed this level flat realm you call Earth. This is the Southeast Asian country of Laos, and you will not believe not only what has been found here, but what has been done to this place in an effort to keep you from knowing what was actually here at one point. You see, these human-sized mugs have been found all over the plains of Laos. And it has been speculated for decades about what these things actually are and who made them. But if you're familiar with my channel at all, you know who made them. And in my opinion, they weren't just made for drinking, they were made for cooking, because there are still lids on some of these mugs. Lids that literally depict on top of them what was to be cooked inside of them. Some with human-looking designs on them, and others with more reptilian or frog-looking designs. But the fact that giants were here isn't even the biggest part of this story. That's yet to come. But you should know by now that the sons of God came into the daughters of men and created the giants, just like is referenced in the Bible multiple times. Again here, when it talks about the sons of Anak, which were giants, and how we looked like grasshoppers in their sight. But the evidence doesn't just come in the form of their mugs or cooking utensils. No, it comes in the terrain as well. Because as usual, when you take a different perspective, you see exactly what's there, even down to an eye. And when you explore the terrain further, again, you see faces in the mountains. Literal petrified faces in the mountains. But again, the giants here aren't the biggest story. The biggest story is what they go through to hide this from you. Because do you know that Laos has been bombed more than any other country in the history of the world? This neutral country that is nowhere in the path on a flat earth or a globe map between Russia and the United States just happened to get the crap bombed out of them during the Cold War. That's how bad they don't want you to know the truth about this place you live. The truth that we're living in a created realm by a creator that giants once inhabited, which is talked about in the Bible. Because if you knew giants existed here, then it legitimizes the Bible. And then, you know what else it legitimizes? The creator of this place you call Earth. And of course, they wouldn't be they without putting the truth right in plain sight in the movie Gulliver's Travels, where there's a giant holding a giant-sized mug that looks an awful lot like the louse mugs. But maybe I'm just smoking the good stuff again, as the trolls like to say in the comments. But it sure does look an awful lot like a giant petrified face to me. But as always, this video is just for shits and gigs. I just like to entertain you guys, and it's all for entertainment purposes, of course. Oh, and if you want to show off your actual knowledge of giants, go check out my gear. Research Smithsonian Giants, fittestflatearther.com. They're a whole different story though. Much smaller stature, but again, just for entertainment purposes.
We literally live on giant cemetery, and I want to know who controls the Smithsonian.
Hey, some pretty major breaking news that we've just got in. The search for the missing British teen, Jay Slater, is now officially over. And it's not because they found him. It's because they can't find him. So here's the details. Authorities yesterday urged the public this time to come in and help them do one final big search in the area, hoping for a massive turnout. But only 6 people turned up. So these volunteers, along with officials, they all gathered together, a group of about 30 to 40 people, searched all day, and still nothing was found. And that's on top of almost 2 weeks now of searching. So we have no idea. It's getting strange. Now, because of this, the spokesperson for the Tenerife police said they cannot keep on looking forever. And although the search is now over, the investigation will remain open. So what that seems to signal is that they might just be shifting their focus to other ways he may have disappeared, and not just that he collapsed or, lost his footing on the way home or something like that. Honestly, as I've said before, this case doesn't make any sense right now, but when it starts to, I'll keep you updated.
An elderly man finishes grocery shopping and wheels his cart to the car when all of a sudden a thief snatches up the 93-year-old's wallet from his back pocket.
Oh my goodness.
The man feels something is off and feels his pocket, turning his head to the left, but then keeps on going without seeing the 3 suspects on his right. When the job is complete, they disperse. The 3 men police say involved in the pocket-picking scheme then used the credit cards to buy hundreds of dollars worth of gift cards at a Fred Meyer supermarket in Portland, Oregon. In this case, caught on camera, you can see one man grabs the wallet while 2 others stand behind him, with one man wrapping his arm around the other as if it were a father and son walking together. In the same surveillance video, police say they tried the same tactic on a few other unsuspecting shoppers and believe the same people have done this throughout the Seattle area, and there could be more victims. Anyone who thinks they may have been a victim is urged to call or email police and reference this incident.
This makes me furious. And now that poor old man is going to blame himself and think he lost it.
This is Inside Edition Digital.
I've been out here walking my dog.
Wait a minute, bro. Something is out there. Something is out there.
It's okay, boy.
It ain't okay.
You spooked about something.
Yeah,
Something's been following us.
Bro, hold up. Wait a minute. It's something out there, bro. While you filming, you gonna film your death, man. Hey, we need to stop.
It's okay.
It ain't okay. It ain't okay. And you talking too loud, bro. I gotta pee, but I don't have to die to pee. I can pee tomorrow, bro. I'm trying to tell you.
No, boy.
Bro, look. Bro, what's that? Oh, wasn't the Lion King?
Yeah, okay, you're talking too loud, bro. That's funny.
I think the Atlantis story does have an ancient Egyptian origin. At Edfu in Upper Egypt, there's a whole story of a homeland of the primeval ones that was destroyed in a great cataclysm and flooded by the sea, leaving only a few survivors who traveled around the world seeking to restart civilization. It's told very clearly in the Edfu building texts, which fortunately have now been completely translated. We have hundreds of myths and traditions from countries all around the globe which speak of a great global cataclysm, a huge flood, often wildfire, destruction of human beings and of animals, a few survivors who seek to restart civilization. It's a global story, not a single story told by Plato.
If you hear the same story from so many different cultures, at what point in time do you go, maybe there's something to this? I mean, it's just very strange to try to deny that.
Yeah, especially with the physical evidence. And it's interesting with the physical evidence like Göbekli Tepe, which is 11,600 years old. So,
have you ever seen someone do this?
Yeah.
Hands behind the head, leaning back. It's an interesting one. You don't often see women do it. It's more of a male-dominated gesture. What does it mean? It is often called the catapult by Alan Pease in one of his books. It's called the catapult, and it means the person is feeling super confident and quite dominant. They're taking up much more of the space. So watch out for that one, because next time you know what it could mean.
I remember perfectly. When I was a kid, I used to do that at church, and my mom would elbow me.
The last one was officially seen in 1976. There have been a reported sighting here and a reported sighting there. It was declared extinct in 2013, I believe. We went there in 2019. When did this survey, got this cool thermal drone image where I was like, that might have been a tiger. Like, there was a big animal we were chasing around that didn't let us get very close. Shortly after our visit, there was a sighting reported of a Javan tiger coming into a village and killing some livestock. When this happened, there was a barbed wire fence and a single hair was found on that fence. So through genetic testing and comparison with other subspecies of Sumatran tiger, they figured out they could have been a Javan leopard, whatever, right? But anyway, long story short, they just announced that they finished analyzing that hair, and sure enough, there is one extant Javan tiger on the island.
Javan tiger is in Indonesia.
The world's most affordable private jet that everyone can afford, especially those earning over $5,000 a month, who can consider financing one. Who would have thought that Honda, a renowned automobile manufacturer, would venture into aircraft production? They have created one of the hottest private jets today, with even their competitor Toyota purchasing one. Owning it allows you to travel anywhere you desire. It's the Honda Jet, a compact business jet designed by Honda. The aircraft's appearance can be described as sleek and sophisticated, with its nose design inspired by high-heeled shoes for women. The jet is remarkably small, measuring 42 feet in length, with a wingspan of 39 feet and a height of just 15 feet, making boarding incredibly convenient. In terms of construction, it utilizes lightweight, high-strength carbon composite materials and advanced integrated technology to minimize aircraft weight, enhance cruising speed, and improve fuel efficiency. The jet is powered by a turbofan engine developed through collaboration between Honda and General Electric. With a maximum takeoff weight of 5 tons, it's perfectly adequate for most purposes, excluding tank transport, of course. The Honda Jet achieves a maximum cruising speed of 480 miles per hour, a range of up to 300 miles, and can soar to a maximum altitude of 43,000 feet, making it the world's fastest private jet. Moreover, it's the first aircraft globally to position its engines above the wings, a design that reduces drag, lowers fuel consumption, and increases speed. Separating the engines from the fuselage also minimizes cabin noise significantly. The cabin comfortably accommodates 7 passengers along with the pilot, although internal space is somewhat limited, necessitating passengers to bend while walking. Despite this, the price tag is surprisingly affordable at just $4,100,000.
Oh yeah. He should have said 5,000 a day instead of month.
Somebody told me this recently and my mind is kind of blown. Humpty Dumpty? So Humpty Dumpty, this homie's sitting on a wall. On a wall. What kind of wall? We don't know, but Humpty Dumpty sat on a wall. And then Humpty Dumpty has this great fall. Okay? So he's on the wall, and then he falls. And all of the king's horses, and all of the king's men, they couldn't put Humpty together again. But there's no indication in this poem, Aesop fable, child nursery rhyme, whatever you call it. There's no indication that Humpty Dumpty is an egg.
Yeah.
And I just discovered this. Did you know this?
Yeah.
Did you know this? Changes the entire dynamic of the story, and I don't know how I feel about it. I don't know how I feel about it.
It was a lost cannon that they call Humpty Dumpty that fell off a wall when it was fired in the siege of Colchester during the English Civil War of 1648.
You know why God says pray for your enemies? Because when you look at people that choose to be your enemy,
that choose to cause problems in your life, that choose to bring negativity to you. He wants you to pray for your enemies, because when you look at them, you feel sorry for them. When you get over being angry and you get over being annoyed and you just get over the fact that these people just cannot stop being negative in their own nature, you do feel sorry for them. Because you start understanding, it's like, how can someone walk this earth behaving in that manner? When you really think about it, it's their nature. Every human has a nature. Some people are loving, some people are kind, some people are protectors, some people just want to live this earth and just want to get along and walk and live a life that's just to protect their family, love their family, and most importantly, respect other people. That's why God says, pray for your enemies, because you pray that God changes their heart. You pray that God keeps them away from you. And most importantly, you pray God punishes them if they continue with the nature and the road that they're going down. See, if you start holding on to the negativity that they bring into your life, you're going to get sick. You're going to end up being mad. And you end up taking that home. And you end up carrying that with you for many years, because these people just get on your nerves. So but when you take the time and you start seeing that they're annoying you, and you stop for a minute and you pray, and you're looking at them and you pray, you start letting go of any of that negative energy that they're trying to put towards you. So always remember, you have God's peace, but most importantly, you have God's love in you, and you have the nature of Christ in you.
Amen.
As long as you have those things in you, with you, and God's walking with you, you don't have to allow the people that tend and choose to walk this earth in a negative manner and serve the enemy and serve the world to affect you in any negative manner.
Yep.
So take time and pray for them. When they start to annoy you, just pray. Give it to God. And always remember, you are going to be lifted up, and God's going to hold you to a high standard, and people are truly going to see it. And everything negative comes to light. And if they're liars, God's going to make sure that the appropriate people see that they're liars. And at the end of the day, they'll walk this earth as liars. And people won't ever forget. You can't trust those kind of people. But if you're someone that has Christ in your heart, and you truly put Christ first, you don't ever have to worry what negative things they have to say, because at the end of the day, your nature is positive, and your nature is great, and your nature serves a purpose that puts God first. God bless.
When you pray for and bless your enemies, it helps you truly forgive them completely. By doing so, you free yourself from carrying the burden of hate. Ultimately, this act is for your own well-being.
Hear about that one girl who's like, you know, an influencer, and she married this like billionaire, and her name is like something Asblund, or like Catherine Asblund.
Asblund.
She reached out to someone who had the handle like Catherine.Asblund and asked them if she could like buy their handle, and the person said, I'm sorry, no, you actually can't buy handles because that's illegal. She goes, can you prove to me that this is actually your name? Because I don't believe it. I'm now married to like the Asblund family, and we're the only family that has the name. And the girl was just like, nope, this is my last name. And this girl who owned the account just screenshotted how crazy of this conversation is.
Is she like
and
an
put it out online.
wow.
And this girl looks ridiculous. She goes, I'm asking you to change your username because you're pretending to be someone you're not. She goes, my name is Catherine. She goes, which is illegal.
What? Oh my God.
She goes, nope, you asked to purchase my username, which is against Instagram rules. I just reported you. Boop. Posted, shared it all out. You know, her husband is like, babe, what the
The Asplund family is extremely wealthy. I think they own like half of the Philadelphia area.
See that? Those 4 S's? Yep, that's like a death trap. So yeah, if you ever get those 4 S's, be prepared to be patted down 4 times over, and then harassed, made fun of in front of public, and everything else that comes with it. And apparently, I looked into it in Google, and it just says it's random, supposedly. Well, 2 things. It says like if there's a pattern or no pattern of travel or something like that, that you get flagged, or sometimes it's just completely random. I'm hoping it's just completely random because I travel a lot, and those extra inspections can take up to half an hour more. So obviously that wouldn't be nice. And it was weird because we just got global entry. This is the first time I use global entry coming from Canada to the US. And then I get extra patted down, which makes absolutely no sense. But anyways, now you know, guys, those 4S's are not your friend. And at first I was like, oh, those 4S's must mean global entry status. Nope. Just means that you're going to be harassed more.
Just use mobile boarding pass and you don't have to worry about it. And I heard you only get 4 S's if you book a plane ticket on short notice to the US. Don't go anywhere because we still have fire clips after fire clips back to back.
If you're willingly taking back shots on camera and then posting the videos for money for the entire planet to observe, suffice to say, those Bible verses you're putting on your story do not apply to you. In fact, I think you should stop posting them because it's borderline blasphemous. And that's coming from someone who's not even particularly religious. I don't even go to church. And even I am almost offended at seeing y'all mock the Lord the way you do, knowing damn well you don't uphold the word that you post and the principles within it. I get on Instagram and see common whores who post themselves butt booty naked for the entire planet to see, the whole world looking at each cheek. And then their next story post is a verse about virtue and chastity from Leviticus or Corinthians. I know I'm not the only one sensing the irony. And let me just be clear, because a lot of y'all don't know how to read in between the lines. This applies to men and women. Both of y'all can be promiscuous as much as you can be fraudulent. I don't care what you post as long as you're true to yourself. If you like getting your back blown out, wear it loud and proud. But don't try and convince social media that you're religious, knowing you aren't practicing any of the values being preached. I know men who have posted themselves to a Bible verse who have had to get treated for chlamydia twice in a month. You are disgusting. Your privates are a biohazard. I'd wager money on your bust being able to melt the skin off someone's face like Ghost Rider. Pause. That was kind of gross. But of course it's women too. How is it we don't live in the same state, yet because of social media, I've seen both of your cheeks? Why are you dropping these hard-ass inspirational quotes from Genesis? That's not who you are. My homeboy cracked on the first date. Moral of the story, just be yourself. Y'all be posting shit you know isn't true about yourself, and that's what gets to me. Just to be clear, I don't actually care about what you or anyone else does with their life. I just like talking about y'all on TikTok for money. The difference between us is that you won't see me posting the Bible like I live that shit, because I damn sure don't.
When you are truly in Christ, you hate sin and cannot tolerate it. If you do sin, you repent and strive not to repeat it. Sophie Rain literally has God first in her bio, but I gasped when I saw her Insta account. Pivot, homeboy. I would help him.
Savannah, Rebecca's going to ask you several questions about the 90s, 80s, or 90s.
Ask him.
Some of them may actually go back further than that. So we just want to know your best answer, okay? Number one.
What were the yellow pages? I'd like to in the Constitution.
Yeah.
Okay. What's the Sega?
A Sega.
Sega?
Oh man, video game.
Is that like an Indian tribe? I'm actually trying to not sound stupid right now. What is
No,
it called?
You're young.
Like they call people together.
Okay, what is a burnt CD?
I mean, self-explanatory. Burnt CD, like they burn it.
Like how do they burn it?
Throw it in the fire.
What's a beeper?
Oh man.
The thing you pull out in the car.
I used to carry one.
What is a vinyl?
Oh. The vinyl.
Alright, you gotta stop it.
That's a fail. That's a fail.
I feel old. I recognize every question he asked.
Biggest hack that CIA gave me for memory was understanding short-term memory and long-term memory. And understanding that short-term memory really is short. It's like 7 to 15 seconds, and that's it. If you want to intentionally remember that detail, you need to take very systematic steps to move it from short-term memory into long-term memory. And the way that you do that is through basic repetition. When you meet someone new and you're like, "Hi, I'm Andy," and they say, "Hi, I'm Bill." Up until CIA, I always forgot people's names.
Oh, yeah.
Well, now I know. I've got to remind myself of Bill's name. So in my head, I have to tell myself, I'm listening to Bill talk right now. I speak out. I try to practice saying his name. Bill, let me ask you a question. Because every time I say his name, I'm working it into my long-term memory. I mentioned this example probably about 45 seconds ago.
Mhm.
And I bet right now, everybody listening still remembers the name.
Bill.
Dude needed the CIA to learn him that.
Let's see what's going on here. We got Vladimir Putin, a couple bodyguards. They did the classic tough guy move where they're just like that. Like Vladimir Putin's bodyguard just looks at Xi Jinping's bodyguard and he just goes, jeez. And Xi Jinping's bodyguard reluctantly does it back. That's like a universal signal. Like everyone knows what it means.
Translation. Don't want to be here, but it's my job. You good? Yep, me too.
The United States when I was 21 years old. I bought this small piece of land and I built this house for $4,000. I bought a motorcycle. I built this cool thing right here for some shade. I live right next to the jungle with monkeys and parrots. Tried to get into my house today, but then the key broke. But that's okay, because I got the shade. But the best part about the whole thing was, today I was looking at my bananas, and that's when I noticed this little guy. That is a watermelon that I planted a long time ago right here, and they just never grew watermelon. My neighbor down the street was the one who gifted me these small watermelon plants, and he grew like 1,000 watermelon. He gave me about 20 of his fresh watermelon, and they were super delicious, but I was kind of upset that my watermelon never grew. Watermelon season has just ended, so I don't know if this watermelon is just a dud, or is it actually going to flourish into a nice juicy watermelon. We're going to have to find out. So what it looks like, it's a little bit smaller than my hand. Shade feels so good. Also, I have another question. Should I take out the weeds and the grass around the watermelon, or should I just let it grow naturally?
Great job, man. Respect.
This dude borrowed $422 from his grandma and
can see by this that yeast feathers its nest. What do I mean by that? Well, yeast thrives pH of 5.5. This is where fungus or yeast thrives. This is also where cancer thrives. And there's a lot of research today linking cancer and fungus together. You just Google it, put cancer fungus in together, and you'll get a whole lot of information. So can you see what fruit does? If you've got a yeast presence, it can feather its nest. I'll give you a story. I had a lady ring me and she said, I got a rash. It's just slowly spreading down my whole body. She said, I went to the doctor, took cortisone, stops it, but a week later it comes back worse. I went to a naturopath and they put me on molasses. What's molasses going to do to yeast? Do you know, some people say to me, I tried the natural way and it didn't work. There are many natural ways. So she rang me up and I said to her, stop the molasses. In fact, at the moment, stop all fruit, eat lots of vegetables, have some legumes, nuts and seeds, go to the health food shop, get some olive leaf extract, grapefruit seed extract. 2 weeks later, her husband rang. He said, wow.
Coconut oil is the best at killing yeast.
It was a very hectic day in the life of a corporate jet broker. I came into the office at 7:30. I was about to get ready for an important meeting I had at 10 o'clock when I got a call from George Galanopoulos from Lux Aviation. You're kidding me. Client we just bought a Praetor 600 for wanted to come a day earlier to see the plane at JetX, Biggin Hill Airport. That's an hour's drive away. Or 6 minutes by helicopter from Battersea Heliport. The broker representing that airplane is actually coming into our office in 2 hours. I thrive on adrenaline. It's what keeps me going. And in situations like these, it's what keeps the business going too. It's deal or no deal. If you don't show up, you lose. But if you do show up and everything goes to plan, that's the most amazing feeling. It never gets old. Anyway, back to reality. George manages jets. And when a buyer wants to see a jet, it has to be perfect. We checked the plane to make sure everything was looking good, all the records were perfect. And it was. Meeting done, back to the office. Yeah, I'm on my way now. Just keep him happy, okay? I made it just in time for the meeting. Hey, boys. Hey. Nothing we could film, though. Next, I welcome my new intern. He'll be working with us for a couple weeks. I had time for some quick coffee when we got a delivery. Wow. We're gonna smell so good. Hello. Hi. Which was, as usual, interrupted by a phone call. Give them the information. Back to work. Aqua de Palma and Constance, also known as Stadguy, sent me some incredible gifts. Gorgeous. Thank you very much. Now the club room was ready for the next appointment of the day, our regular sales meeting. I like to do these from time to time to catch up on how everything's going. Everyone presents each deal they're working on, and we plan next steps together. 75 million. Another call. They just keep on coming. Let me see what's out there on final task of the day. I filmed an interview with my social media team. It was actually in 1984. Business just needs tending to sometimes. No. You would have to spend at least $2 million. All right now. 1984. Yeah. Hey, is here. Oh my God. This day just keeps on surprising. And it's only 4 o'clock.
That's awesome. But why super rich people use Samsung though? Tell me you're in Australia without telling me you're Australia.
Well, that's an obvious fade portal if I've ever seen one. Yeah, it is. Just a stairway into some black water.
Oh yeah, very pretty.
I'm gonna go touch it.
No.
The most obvious fade trap I have ever seen.
I'm gonna go touch it.
No, Maria, you're gonna get kidnapped.
Don't step in it. No. You step around it. Okay, what I will do though is make an offering to the fairy ring. Set it right in the middle.
I know it is an obvious fade trap right there. And I'm wondering if we should go underneath this or around it. I'm thinking of opting around. What do you think, babe?
Let's go through it.
I like him.
What?
What's so scary being kidnapped by Faye? Anyone? Please drop a comment.
Video of this one. It's moving. Can you see how it's like it's spinning? Yeah. So I'm not tripping, right?
No, you're not tripping. You're not alone.
And it is actually moving. It's not in the same space, on the spot.
That is crazy. And is it getting bigger?
The shape is changing.
Oh no, do we want to be out here?
I believe Disney is satanic. Let me know how you feel about this.
No one is talking about this.
Don't walk through the world looking for evidence that you don't belong, because you will always find it. Yes. Don't walk through the world looking for evidence that you're not enough, because you'll always find it. Our worth and our belonging are not negotiated with other people. We carry those inside of our hearts. I know who I am. I'm clear about that. And I'm not going to negotiate that with you, because then I may fit in for you, but I no longer belong to myself. And that is a betrayal I'm not willing to do anymore.
She is amazing. You should listen to her TED Talks.
Wow, so powerful. Tag someone who needs to hear this.
We can make all the jokes about Drake, but Drake ain't stupid. As a security professional, you would probably be able to get your hands physically to hurt Diddy before you got to Drake.
No.
Drake's smarter than that. But Drake ain't on that type of time. Drake ain't stupid. How many altercations have you seen Drake in?
Chris Brown, Diddy.
Altercations. Real altercations.
They got a bottle thrown in his head, right?
Yeah.
Chris.
Think about it.
Them the only two that I know of for sure.
And that really wasn't like, that was on some, all right, okay. Drake ain't stupid. Drake is going to have top tier security. At best, you would drive by his compound and shoot randomly and hopefully you hit somebody. You're not getting in. You're not getting close to him because he's smart enough to have decent security. So yeah, security guard did take a bullet. I think he may be out of ICU right now, but yeah, he did take a bullet, but you're not gonna get to Drake. You'll get to Diddy before you get to Drake. Drake is going to take the proper precautions to make sure he has a decent amount of security, especially if he laying down tracks and talking to other people crazy. It's just the way.
Diddy smacked Drake. What he's talking about?
See this guy here? Don't be like him. Use him as an example of what you don't do when you get on TikTok. This little kid right here, listen, last year, 2023, he got up here talking crazy about people in the Haitian voodoo community, right? Experienced steppers that are known for laying down. This guy stepped up here talking about what's voodoo and what's not voodoo. As you can see the outcome here. Again, this guy here, use him as an example. Don't think getting up on social media, getting a bunch of views and subscribers is worth this, because it's not. You get up on social media talking crazy about the wrong people, they're not gonna make videos dissing you back and forth.
Right.
They're just gonna handle their business as they should. Don't be like this kid.
If you are not equipped and covered by the blood of Christ, do not attempt this. This person claims God does not exist and is trying to prove that voodoo is not real. However, God exists, so does the devil.
China has worked its magic, driving countless foreigners crazy. The reason? China's 144-hour visa-free policy for 6 European countries. Major tourist spots are now swarming with blonde-haired, blue-eyed foreigners. Before arriving, they thought China was dirty and chaotic, but upon arrival, they were greeted by dazzling city lights at night, picturesque mountain scenery, and futuristic subway stations. Many were shocked. especially women who felt very safe walking alone at night. No homeless people or drug paraphernalia, just bright lights and vibrant nightlife. All of this stood in stark contrast to Western media's portrayal of China. They realized they had been living in a bubble of misinformation. They shared their shocking experiences online. With just a snap, their posts went viral. More foreign netizens understood. Western media was deliberately smearing and suppressing China. They urged everyone to personally experience the happiness and safety here. Even experts commented, the most dangerous place in China is the night market. You don't even need the vendor to persuade you. You'll willingly hand over your money. What do you think? Would you want to visit China and see for yourself?
It's time for the Western people and see it for yourself. A visit is better than 1,000 words.
This is the latest initiative from the president of El Salvador. He is putting all these prisoners to work. All these people are being put to work for a positive cause. That's everything from garbage collection to actually cleaning up the beaches and other initiatives, including growing their own foods. The thing that I like is they're actually fixing and painting and working on publicly funded buildings. That means it's no longer the taxpayer dollars that is paying for it. It's actually the prisoners who are then funded by the tax dollars anyways. This is called the Zero Leisure Plan. And as part of that plan, they are growing their own food that they will be eating in the prisons as well. From construction projects to you name it, everyone is being put to work. And the president's saying that they need to repay the debt to society.
I think the president of El Salvador is the only ruler of a nation in recent years who is actually doing his job right.
In Beverly Hills, where everybody's parents are famous and the kids are part of the fame, it doesn't end well. I remember, no joke, a kid telling me, I was going for a jog outside my house in Beverly Hills. I'm going, and a guy pulls up. He's like, hey, I'm a follower of yours, and I live on the same street as you. And he was like 16. And he's like, yeah, I've been dealing with a lot of struggles. And his struggle was his parents gave him a BMW, and all of his friends had Ferraris. And I said, I don't want my kid. That's not good for a kid. His reality was like, he was kind of like, Dad, I'm trying to make more money. And I'm like, why? And he's like, dude, I don't fit in school. And like, he was kind of misquoting the wealth thing. You know, it's like, I need to change my social circle. Some of my friends only have BMWs, but some kids in school have Ferraris. And those are the real thinkers and Think and Grow Rich. And I want to be like them. And I was like, whoa.
These kids live this type of life, and we expect them to have a grip on reality when introduced to the real world.
Because of who you are, I give you glory. Because of who you
Commercial pilot Rico Seta Mafela, a devout Christian, hums worship songs during his flights. But moments before the earthquake and tsunami hit Indonesia last month, he felt the urge to sing aloud.
Because of who you are. God seems like saying, hey, just praise me and worship me.
Captain Mafela said he saw nothing unusual as he approached Palu that day, other than strong winds that prompted a split decision to circle before landing. That delayed him landing by 9 minutes. As passengers departed and Mafela prepared for his next flight, he heard the voice again.
Get out of this place. Depart early.
Captain Mafela wondered if it was just his imagination or something else. Regardless, he obeyed what he had heard and took off 3 minutes earlier than the scheduled departure time. That decision literally saved him and his 148 passengers.
The quake started on the Donggala area 17:55, 5:55 p.m. I pushed back at 5:52. The wave of the earthquake reached Palu 7.4, 7.7. It's just exactly after my liftoff. Yes.
Those 3 minutes were crucial. After Captain Mafela's plane was safely airborne, this control tower started to cave in because of the strong earthquake, forcing air traffic controller Antonius Agong to jump from the 4th floor. He was a hero. Unfortunately, he died due to internal injuries. At the time, Captain Mafela and his passengers had no idea what was taking place below them. Later, Mafela realized his cell phone camera had captured a view of waves starting to form into tsunamis that struck central Sulawesi.
Those runway cracked behind me, and the deep is around 1.5 to 2 meters. Behind the runway, That's where the liquefactions only happen on my departure time.
Captain Mafela is glad he listened and obeyed.
Oh God, thank you so much. God reveals everything. If you are late even just 1 or 2 seconds, it could be a disaster. I don't need to prove that God is alive. I don't need to prove that God is here. I've seen him. It's more than enough for me.
Lucille Talusan, CBN News, Palu in...
Praise the Lord. It's very good to learn to listen to the voice of the Spirit and obey. We get into trouble most times because of disobedience.
When you're chosen, you'll have an assignment. Your assignment will be to a person or to a group of people. See, if your name was Moses, you was called to the people of Israel. If your name was Aaron, you was called to Moses. Your purpose is to advance the kingdom of God. Your gift is a point of access to your purpose. Your gift is like a key that unlocks the door to your assignment. In other words, to a person or to a group of people. Well, how do you know who that is? Whose pain do you feel? Whose tears affect you? Whose problems are you willing to solve? Your assignment will be geographical. You won't be called to everybody, you'll be called to somebody. You'll be called to a specific group of people. The very thing you battle in life and the very thing you overcame will be an indication of who you're called to.
My assignment is to introduce people to Jesus Christ of Nazareth, who died on the cross and was raised on the third day.
This cat has been with its owner for 22 years, and it has been trying to create miracles. It pretends to be energetic every day, waiting for its owner to come home from work for a petting. It turns out that as cats age, their teeth will fall out, their skin will become wrinkled, and their mental state will not be as active. It sits by the window every day waiting for its owner to come home from work, and when it gets tired, it takes a nap by the window. For it, the owner's touch is the happiest thing. The owner will wipe its body to remove bacteria and feed it food. The girl cherishes the time with it every day and kisses it with a lot of heartache. They have become each other's emotional support.
God bless them both. Alright folks, I'm going to end our video with this coming clip. Be kind to each other. If you haven't subscribed, please do. There's a free gift below if you like, and if you want to buy me coffee or support me through Patreon, the links are also in the description below. Thank you for watching. Have a prosperous day, and God bless.
Every pharmaceutical company cannot have to pay. Thank you. And by the way,
so every day, millions